it's Miss Priscilla at the Apple Nest Library, and I am book talking one of our new realistic fiction books called There Goes the Neighborhood by Jade Adia. So this takes place in South LA, and it centers on our three main characters. It is told entirely from the point of view of Rhea, whose best friends are Malachi and Zeke. It is LGBTQ friendly because Zeke is LGBTQ. So Rhea and her friends have grown up in this neighborhood, and their parents grew up in this neighborhood. So they have a long history with this neighborhood. But what's happening is something called gentrification. So stores and shops and stuff are being bought out or pushed out because they can't afford rent and stuff like that. So that now there's yoga studios and coffee shops and things that don't really fit the neighborhood. And what prompts the majority of the action in this is that Zeke's family has received, along with many other people in the neighborhood, have received eviction notices, and they've got 30 days before they're going to have to find a new place to live. So these kids are on a timeline, and the kids happen to overhear the landlord with investors, and they decide, we are going to do something about this. We are going to scare off these investors by creating a fake gang. Not game. That is sort of a game. So they use video, social media, and other things to create and spread the news about this fake gang. They're quite creative in how they do it. But the book starts out with the whole thing this white guy was murdered, and everybody's blaming it on the gang, but that couldn't have happened because we created the gang. So we get a hint of it. So there is actually a little bit of mystery in this too, because they have to figure out who murdered the guy who was murdered, what was happened, because ultimately one of them becomes a suspect in that murder as well. So I liked this book. It dealt with a whole lot of issues. It was hard. I'm going to be honest. It was hard for me to read because there are not any really positive depictions of white people in this book. And if I really think about the point of view of all the people in this neighborhood, I understand that, but it doesn't make it necessarily an easy read for me. So some of the issues that they are dealing with in this. So, like I said, the gentrification, sorry, that's a word that's similar to other words, of this neighborhood, like I said, pushing other people out so that the white people can move in is basically what it is. There's a lot of dealing with the white fear of different communities, because there's already white people living in this neighborhood, and they talk about how they act toward the people who've lived in this neighborhood forever. There's the community of color and their total distrust of law enforcement, which once again is understandable, but okay. I think larger issues to me that hit me more is what makes a family, because Rhea is very much a neglected child, and she says it's like her mother kind of just gave up after her older siblings moved out of the house. And Rhea has been raised by this community, so this community is super important to all of them, but especially to Rhea. So what makes a home, what makes a family, what makes a community? Because it is beautiful the way that Rhea talks about the community and some of the things that they do. And you do see, on the outside, some people may see one thing, but they're not looking below the surface to see what the community is really about. There is some minor use of drugs and selling of drugs, and like I said, child neglect, because Rhea is clearly a neglected child. So I did enjoy this book. Like I said, it wasn't necessarily an easy read for me, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't read it. So if this is not your cup of tea, I will help you find something else. Otherwise, have a fantastic day and keep on reading.